Billionaire father hires a homeless gardener and is shocked by what she did with his daughter. The cold autumn wind whipped through the streets as Anna arrived at the gates of the Blackwood mansion. Her blonde hair flew wildly around her pale face, and her fingers, red from the cold, tightly gripped the small, worn-out bag that held everything she owned in the world. She took a deep breath, looking up at the imposing grey stone building that seemed to touch the low clouds of that misty morning. "It's now or never," she murmured to herself, adjusting the thin coat that did little to protect her from the dropping temperature. The intercom seemed intimidating, a metal object as cold as the chances Anna believed she had. Still, she tucked her hair behind her ear and pressed the button with a determination that masked her fear. After 3 tries and no response, she spotted an elderly gardener working near the wall. With a gentle smile and a few polite words, she convinced him, with a suspicious look, to let her in as far as the main door. The mansion was even more impressive up close. Tall, its imposing windows reflected the pale morning light, and the solid oak door looked like it weighed tons. Anna knocked 3 times, feeling her heart race with each second of waiting that seemed to stretch on infinitely. The door opened with a soft creak, revealing a middle-aged woman in an impeccably ironed uniform and an expression as severe as the house's architecture. "How can I help you?" she asked, measuring Anna from head to toe with eyes that didn't hide her disapproval. "I need to speak with Mr. Blackwood. It's about a job," Anna replied, trying to keep her voice steady despite the lump forming in her throat. The housekeeper frowned, and her mouth tightened in a gesture of refusal. "Mr. Blackwood doesn't see anyone without an appointment, especially people who aren't scheduled. Please," Anna insisted, taking a small step forward. "Just 5 minutes. I came from a long way, and I have no way to get back today, or anywhere to go," she added, the last part almost inaudible. Something in the sincerity of her gaze, or perhaps the poorly disguised desperation, must have convinced the woman, who sighed deeply and opened the door wider. "Wait here. Don't touch anything." Anna stood still in the entrance hall, intimidated by the family portraits on the walls that seemed to watch her with suspicion, and by the marble floor so polished that it reflected her tired face and simple clothes. Minutes that felt like hours passed until firm footsteps echoed down the hallway. David Blackwood appeared like a figure straight out of a business magazine, tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair with graying temples, wearing a perfectly tailored suit that probably cost more than everything Anna had ever owned in her life. His eyes, however, were as cold as the approaching winter, and the lines around them told stories of sleepless nights. "Mrs. Martha says you're looking for work," he said bluntly, his deep voice filling the space with authority. "We're not hiring." Anna took a deep breath and stepped forward. "Mr. Blackwood, my name is Anna Collins. I'm 23 years old, and I can do any job: cleaning, cooking, gardening. I don't care what it is, as long as it's honest." "As I said," he repeated in a tone that indicated the conversation was over, "we're not hiring." He turned to leave, his back already to the young woman. "Please." Anna's voice came out louder than she intended, echoing in the spacious hall. "I need this job. I promise you won't regret it." "I'll do anything." David stopped, turning slowly. His gaze analyzed the young woman before him. Simple but clean clothes, blonde hair poorly tied back in a messy ponytail, light eyes that, surprisingly, did not look away from his, and hands that, even from a distance, showed signs of hard work. "Why should I hire someone who shows up at my door unannounced? Without references, without a history?" he asked, crossing his arms. "Give me one good reason." Anna swallowed hard, feeling the weight of the question. For a moment, she thought about lying, inventing an elaborate story, but something told her this man would see through any falsehood. "Because I'm willing to work harder than anyone with references," she said finally. "Diety because I need to prove my worth, not just show a piece of paper that says I have it, and because," she hesitated briefly, "because I have nothing left to lose." A tense silence filled the hall. David studied the young woman's face, as if searching for signs of dishonesty. "What do you know about gardening?" he asked finally. A small flame of hope ignited in Anna's chest. "Enough, and I'm a quick learner for what I don't know." David walked to the window and looked out at the garden in the back of the property. It was neglected, covered in dead leaves and weeds. Since his wife had died 3 years ago, no one had really taken care of the space she had loved so much. "The garden is a disaster," he said without turning around. "It would be a good test of your skills if you truly have any." Anna cautiously approached until she was standing beside him, also looking at the garden. "I can bring it back to life." David turned to her, and for a brief moment Anna saw something beyond the coldness in his eyes, perhaps pain, perhaps just exhaustion. "You start tomorrow at 7, a 1-month trial. Martha will show you the back room where you can stay." Anna could barely hide the relief that flooded her. "Thank you, Mr. Blackwood. You won't regret this." "I've regretted wiser decisions," he replied dryly. "Martha, show her where the tools in the room are." "Anna, right? I hope you're as good as you say." As Martha led Anna to the back of the mansion, explaining rules and schedules with military rigidity, neither of them noticed the small face watching from a second-floor window. Olivia, with her blonde hair falling like silk on her delicate shoulders and light eyes so much like her mother's, watched the scene with intense interest. From the wheelchair where she sat, the 5-year-old girl pressed her small hand against the cold glass, following the stranger who had just entered their lives with her gaze. "Who is she, Spencer?" Olivia asked the worn-out teddy bear she held in her lap. "Do you think she likes stories like I do?" Downstairs, Martha showed Anna a small room with a simple bed, an old wardrobe, and a window that overlooked the neglected garden that would be her responsibility. "I don't know how you convinced Mr. Blackwood," Martha commented, handing her clean sheets and a towel. "He doesn't usually change his mind, and he rarely lets strangers stay on the property." Anna placed her small backpack on the bed, feeling the firm mattress under her fingers, the first place she could call her own in longer than she cared to admit. "Maybe he just needed a reminder that there are people willing to try," she replied, looking at the garden through the window. "And sometimes all we need is a chance." That night, in different rooms of the same house, 3 people lay awake. A man tormented by memories he tried to bury in work and endless meetings, a lonely child who had seen a new face for the first time in months and wondered if she would finally have someone to talk to, and a young woman for whom this mansion represented not just a job, but perhaps the last chance for a new beginning in a world that rarely offered second chances. When the sun rose the next morning, Anna was already up, looking at the abandoned garden through the fogged window. It was just a dead garden to most people, but to her, it symbolized a promise she couldn't break, the silent promise that, this time, she would not fail. The alarm clock didn't even need to ring. Anna was already awake, watching the first rays of sun that streamed through the small window of her room. 5:30 in the morning, and she already felt the anxiety of the new day. She got up quickly, washed her face in the small corner sink, and put on her work clothes. Faded jeans, a simple grey t-shirt, and a thin coat that had seen better days. "Day 2, she murmured to her reflection in the small and cracked mirror. "Let's go." Anna preferred not to have breakfast in the main kitchen. Martha had said she could, but the housekeeper's disapproving glare was enough to make her avoid any unnecessary contact. Instead, she ate an apple she had saved from the day before and went out to the garden. The dawn was still painting the sky with shades of pink and orange when Anna began her journey. The garden looked even more abandoned in the clear morning light. Dead leaves covered the ground like a brown carpet. Broken branches were scattered across the flower beds, and weeds choked what must have once been carefully planted flowers. Anna took a deep breath, feeling the cold air fill her lungs. "One piece at a time," she told herself, picking up a rake and starting to gather the dead leaves into organized piles. The hours passed quickly as she worked. The sun rose higher in the sky, and sweat began to run down her forehead despite the cool morning air. There was something comforting in the physical labor, the simplicity of seeing immediate results, the feeling of accomplishing something concrete. By around 10 o'clock, Anna had already filled 6 large bags with leaves and dry branches. Her hands, even protected by worn-out gloves, were starting to form blisters, but she didn't mind. With each full bag, a small part of the garden re-emerged, as if she were unearthing something precious from a forgotten past. "The roses will need pruning," she murmured to herself, examining withered bushes that were struggling to survive. "And these hydrangeas," she gently touched the wilted flowers, "there's still life here. They just need care." On the other side of the garden, a small face watched intently through the second-floor window. Olivia, sitting in her wheelchair, hadn't taken her eyes off Anna since she saw her arrive that morning. There was something fascinating about watching someone work with such dedication. "Fair she doesn't stop for even a second, Spencer," the girl said to her teddy bear, adjusting him more comfortably in her lap. "I wonder if she ever gets tired." Anna continued working, unaware that she was being watched. She sorted through rusty tools she found in a shed at the back, cleaned them, and organized them carefully. She discovered an old coiled hose and tested it. It still worked, though the water stream was weak. "Better than nothing," she murmured, starting to water some areas she had already cleared. At noon, Martha appeared with a sandwich and a glass of water. "Mr. Blackwood said to make sure you don't starve to death on your first day," she said, her tone indicating the idea hadn't been hers. "Thank you," Anna replied with a smile, only then realizing how hungry she was. "You're making progress," Martha commented, looking around. Indeed, a considerable part of the garden was already clean and organized. "So but you still have a lot to do," Anna nodded, chewing her sandwich. "I'll finish cleaning today and tomorrow. Then I can start planning what to plant." Martha seemed surprised. "Planning? Mr. Blackwood only asked you to clean. A garden needs life," Anna replied simply. "Had I promised to bring it back?" The housekeeper shrugged and went back inside, leaving Anna alone again with her thoughts and the garden that was slowly beginning to reveal its potential. In the afternoon, Anna found an old notebook in a shed drawer. The pages were yellowed but still blank. She sat for a few minutes in the shade of a tree and began to draw a map of the garden, marking areas for different types of plants, jotting down ideas. "Lavender could go here," she murmured, pointing to a sunny flower bed. "And over there, daisies for some color." The rest of the afternoon passed at a steady pace of work. Anna cleaned a stone fountain that was completely covered in moss and dead leaves. Underneath the dirt, she discovered a beautiful carving of birds in relief. It must have been beautiful when it worked, she thought, running her fingers over the details of the sculpture. As the sun began to set, Anna finally allowed herself to rest. She sat on the stone steps leading to the house, looking at the work she had done. There was still a lot to do, but you could already see the difference. Where there was once only chaos, order was beginning to emerge. "Tomorrow will be even better," she promised herself. Inside the house, Olivia continued her silent vigil. She had spent almost the entire day watching Anna work, fascinated by the transformation that was already beginning to happen outside. "Dad," she said when David came to see her before dinner, "the new lady is making magic in the garden." David looked out the window. Even from a distance, he could see the difference. "It's not magic, Olivia. It's just hard work." "It looks like magic to me," the girl insisted, her light eyes shining with admiration. "Tomorrow I want to see it up close." David hesitated. "We'll see," he replied, knowing that his daughter rarely showed interest in anything since the accident. That night, Anna slept soundly, exhausted but satisfied. Her body ached from the hard work. Her hands were covered in blisters, but she felt a peace she hadn't experienced in a long time. In the mansion, Olivia fell asleep with her face turned towards the window, dreaming of magical gardens and the strange blonde lady who worked as if she were weaving dreams into the earth. And so the routine was established. Every day before the sun had fully risen, Anna was in the garden, determined to bring life back to that forgotten space, and every day, on the other side of the glass, a little girl watched, her heart slowly filling with the courage to one day venture outside. A week had passed since Anna started working at the Blackwood mansion. The garden already showed visible signs of transformation. The flower beds, once choked with weeds, were now clean and organized. The stone fountain, completely restored, was just waiting for water to start working again. The paths between the beds, previously almost invisible under dead leaves, were now clearly defined by stones that Anna had found and carefully aligned. On that Thursday morning, the sky was especially blue, with no clouds to obscure the sun that shone gently on the resurgent garden. Anna was working on a new project. She was preparing the soil to receive wildflower seeds. She dug small holes in organized rows, humming a song that her own mother used to sing when she tended to the few plants they managed to keep alive in the small apartment where they lived. She was so focused on her work that she didn't immediately notice the soft sound of the back door opening. It was only when a small shadow fell over the flower bed that she looked up, shielding her eyes from the sun with her hand. There, a few feet away, was Olivia in her wheelchair. The girl was wearing a light blue dress that matched her eyes and had her blonde hair tied in 2 side braids. She looked nervous, her small hands gripping the arms of the chair tightly, as if seeking the courage to stay there. Anna smiled but didn't approach. Instinctively, she knew she needed to give the child space. "Hello?" she said softly, putting her small shovel aside. Olivia hesitated, looking at Anna with a mixture of curiosity and shyness. "Hi," she finally replied, her voice almost a whisper. "My name is Anna. You must be Olivia," Anna continued, still keeping her distance. "I've seen you at the window." The girl seemed surprised, her eyes widening slightly. "You saw me?" Anna nodded, still smiling. "Every day. I thought maybe you were curious about what I'm doing out here." Olivia bit her lower lip, considering the words. After a moment, she moved her chair a few inches forward, the wheels making a soft, crunching sound on the stone path. "My mommy really liked this garden," she said finally, her voice a little stronger. "She used to plant pretty flowers and show me how they grew. She said every flower has its own story." Anna felt a tightness in her chest. It was the first time anyone had mentioned Olivia's mother. She must have been very good with plants, then. Olivia nodded, her eyes scanning the garden with a sadness that seemed too big for someone so small. After she went away, the garden got sad. Daddy wouldn't let anyone touch her things, but he didn't know how to take care of the plants either, so they started dying. "Went away?" Anna asked gently, though she already suspected the answer. "To heaven," Olivia replied, looking up. "Daddy says she became a star, but I can't tell which one is her because there are so many." Her little eyebrows furrowed. "How do we know which star is the person we love?" Anna swallowed hard, fighting back the emotion rising in her throat. "You know," she said after a moment, "they say that when we plant flowers, we are closer to the stars, because flowers are like little stars on Earth. Each one shines in its own way, just like the people we love." Olivia's eyes widened slightly. "See, really, I'm sure of it," Anna replied. "Look." She pointed to a small green sprout that was beginning to emerge in one of the beds she had prepared days earlier. "See how it's growing towards the sun? It's like it's trying to reach the sky." Olivia leaned forward in her chair, straining to see better. Can I get closer?" "Of course," Anna answered, stepping back a bit to make way for the wheelchair. Carefully, Olivia maneuvered her chair along the stone path until she reached the flower bed. Anna noticed how strong her small arms seemed, likely the result of years of moving herself around. "It's so tiny," Olivia commented, observing the sprout. "It is now," Anna agreed. "But it will grow. And do you know what's most amazing about plants?" Olivia shook her head. "They always find a way. No matter how hard it is, they always reach for the light." The girl was silent for a moment, as if absorbing those words. "Can I stay here for a little while, just to watch you work?" "I'd love the company," Anna replied sincerely. "Sometimes I talk to the plants, but they don't answer much." That brought a small smile to Olivia's face, just a slight upturn of her lips, but it was like a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds. For the next hour, Anna continued her work while Olivia watched intently. The girl didn't say much, but her eyes followed Anna's every move with intense curiosity. "What are you planting now?" she finally asked, as Anna began to sprinkle small seeds into the holes she had dug. "Daisies," Anna replied, showing the tiny seeds in her palm. "They'll grow into white flowers with yellow centers. very pretty and resilient. Mommy had daisies, Olivia commented, almost to herself. She said they were honest flowers. Anna smiled at the description. That's a great way to describe them. They're simple, but true. Olivia considered this for a moment, then asked, "Can I help?" The question came out soft, but clear. "Of course you can," Anna replied, approaching the chair. "Here." She held out her hand with a few seeds. "Want to play some?" Olivia hesitated but held out her small hand. Anna gently placed a few seeds in the girl's palm. "Now, just put 1 or 2 in each little hole," she instructed gently. "It doesn't have to be perfect." In nature, seeds fall in random places. With extreme care, as if handling precious treasures, Olivia began to place the seeds in the small holes Anna had prepared. Her concentration was absolute, her tongue peeking out between her lips in a sign of effort. "Like this?" she asked after placing the first seed. "Perfect," Anna assured her. "You're very careful. The flowers will love growing from your hands." A small smile appeared on Olivia's face, more pronounced this time, lighting up her light eyes, completely transforming her expression. As they continued to work together, Olivia started to open up more. She began asking questions about the different plants, how to care for them, how long they would take to grow. "Guess these daisies will start to sprout in about a week or so," Anna explained. "And in about a month we'll have the first flowers." "A whole month?" Olivia seemed disappointed. "Nature has its own time," Anna replied. "We can't rush good things." Seeing that Olivia still seemed a bit let down, Anna had an idea. But she stood up and went to a small makeshift structure in the corner of the garden. She returned with a small pot where a yellow flower was already blooming, a small dwarf sunflower she had brought a few days earlier. "This one is already ready. Want to plant it?" Olivia's face lit up. "Can I really?" "Of course. I'll show you how." Patiently, Anna guided Olivia through the transplanting process. She showed her how to dig a hole of the right size, how to carefully remove the plant from the pot without hurting the roots, and how to settle it into the new soil. "Now the most important part," Anna said, offering a small watering can. "It needs water to feel at home in its new place." Olivia took the watering can with both hands and, with extreme care, poured water around the newly transplanted plant. A few drops fell on her hands, and to Anna's surprise, the girl laughed, a light, crystalline sound that seemed to dance in the morning air. "It's cold," Olivia exclaimed, still laughing. "So it's the best feeling, isn't it? Hands in the dirt, cool water," Anna commented, smiling at the girl's joy. For the next hour, they continued to work together. Anna would hand Olivia light tools to hold, let her choose where certain flowers should go, and ask her opinion on colors and arrangements. With each small task completed, the girl's confidence seemed to grow. "So you know," Olivia said as she helped pat down the soil around a new plant, "Mommy used to say the garden was magic." "Did she?" Anna sat back on her heels to get a better look at the girl. "And why was that?" "Because things are always changing here. Today there's a bud, tomorrow a flower, like magic." Olivia made a gesture with her hands, mimicking something opening. "And she said the garden knew when we were sad." "How so?" "Well, she said when we're sad we should come to the garden, because the flowers don't judge anyone. They just stand there, being beautiful, no matter if you're crying or laughing." Olivia seemed to be repeating words she had heard many times. "And that the smell of flowers heals a broken heart." Anna felt her eyes well up. "Your mother was very wise, Olivia, and you know what? I think she was right. The garden really is magic." Olivia nodded solemnly, as if they had just shared an important secret. "Want to know another magical thing about gardens?" Anna asked, leaning in as if to tell a secret. Olivia moved closer in her chair. "What?" "They're like people. They seem fragile, but they're much stronger than we imagine. And even when everything looks dead," Anna pointed to an area of the garden they hadn't worked on yet, "there's always something waiting to be reborn." The sun was already high when Martha appeared at the door, her face a mask of worry. "Miss Olivia, we've been looking for you for almost 2 hours." Olivia shrank slightly in her chair. "I'm sorry, Martha. I was helping Anna in the garden." The housekeeper looked from Anna to Olivia, then at the girl's small hands, dirty with soil. "Your father will be worried." David's voice came from behind her. He appeared at the door, his face a mixture of relief and confusion at seeing his daughter in the garden. "Olivia, you know you're not supposed to go out alone." "I'm sorry, Daddy," Olivia said, looking down. "I just wanted to see the flowers. And then Anna let me help. I planted a sunflower. Look." She pointed proudly at the small plant. David approached, looking around in surprise as he noticed the garden's transformation. His gaze swept over the flower bed where Olivia had helped plant the small tools Anna had set aside for the girl to use, the newly planted yellow flower. "You were helping?" he asked his daughter, his voice softer. Olivia nodded, looking up with a mix of pride and apprehension. "I planted a flower, Daddy, by myself. Well, Anna helped a little, and we planted daisy seeds that will grow in a month." David looked at Anna, who quickly stood up, wiping her hands on her pants. "Mr. Blackwood, I'm sorry. I should have asked for permission before letting Olivia help." To her surprise, David didn't seem angry. His eyes were fixed on his daughter, particularly on the small smile still playing on her lips and the animated sparkle in her eyes. "It's been a long time since I've seen you smile like that, Princess," he said softly. Olivia looked at Anna and then back at her father. "Can I come again tomorrow, please? Anna said we're going to plant purple flowers, and I've never planted purple flowers before." David hesitated, looking at the garden and then at Anna. "Would you mind," he asked her, "having Olivia around while you work?" "Not at all," Anna answered honestly. "She's a great helper. She has gentle hands for the plants and asks smart questions." Olivia practically glowed with pride upon hearing this. "Well," David said slowly, a reluctant smile appearing on his usually serious face, "I think we can arrange that. As long as you don't stay in the sun for too long and come inside to rest when Martha calls." "I promise," Olivia exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. "I'll be the best garden helper in the world," David chuckled, a brief, rough sound, as if rusted from disuse. "I'm sure you will. Now we need to go. It's time for your lunch, and then we have that appointment with Dr. Richards, remember?" Olivia's smile faded a little at the mention of the doctor. "I know, but can I say goodbye to Anna first?" David nodded and stepped back a few paces, giving them space. Olivia turned to Anna, suddenly shy again. "Thanks for letting me help," she said, her voice lower. "It was the most fun day I've had in a long time." "Thank you for your help," Anna replied sincerely, crouching down to be at the girl's eye level. "You made the garden more beautiful today. And you know what? I think your mum would be very proud to see you taking care of the place she loved." A pink blush colored Olivia's cheeks, and for a moment it looked like she might cry. But instead, she smiled, a full, genuine smile that transformed her face. "See you tomorrow." "I'll be waiting," Anna promised, "and I'll set aside the best purple flowers for you to plant." As David pushed Olivia's chair back towards the house, the girl turned one last time, waving at Anna. Her smile, now open and confident, was like the sun after a long storm. Anna waved back, feeling an emotion she hadn't expected. In just one morning, that little girl with light eyes had found a direct path to her heart. "See you tomorrow, Olivia," she murmured to herself, returning to her work with renewed energy. Now there was even more reason to make that garden the most magical place possible, not just for herself, not just for the job, but for a little girl who, like the seeds they had planted, just needed a little care to bloom again. When the mansion door closed behind Olivia and her father, Anna realized that, for the first time in a long time, she herself was also smiling, not the polite smile she offered to strangers, but a genuine one that came from within. It was strange how a child she barely knew had brought so much light to her day. Looking at the sunflower they had planted together, Anna made a silent promise, not just to Olivia, but also to herself. This garden would once again be a place of joy and life, no matter what it took. And perhaps, in the process, it wouldn't be just the garden that would bloom again. With that thought, she returned to her work, already imagining all the projects she could do with her new little helper. The sun was shining brighter now, as if approving of the new direction things were taking in that small corner of the world. The days at the Blackwood mansion settled into a new routine. Every morning after breakfast, Olivia would wait eagerly to be taken to the garden, where Anna had already been working since early. That clear-skied Tuesday was no different. Martha pushed the girl's wheelchair along the stone path, grumbling about how much dirt would be tracked into the house later, but secretly happy to see the excitement on the little one's face. "Anna!" Olivia called as soon as she spotted the gardener, waving enthusiastically. Her cheeks were rosy with excitement, and her blonde hair, tied in a loose braid, swung with the movement. Anna turned, smiling at the sight of the girl. In the last few weeks, this had become the best part of her day. "Good morning, little helper. You've arrived at the perfect time." Martha left Olivia in Anna's care with the usual instructions about schedules and precautions, then returned to the house, shaking her head, but with an almost smile on her lips. "What are we going to do today?" Olivia asked, her light eyes shining with curiosity as she looked at the tools and pots Anna had set out. "So today," Anna replied in a mysterious tone, approaching the chair, "we are going to plant magic seeds." "Magic seeds?" Olivia's eyes widened. "Like in Jack and the Beanstalk?" Anna laughed. "Well, maybe they won't grow all the way to the sky, but they have their own kind of magic." She knelt beside the chair and showed a handful of small, dark seeds. "First, these are sunflower seeds, and do you know why they're magical?" Olivia shook her head, completely captivated. "Because each one holds a secret," Anna explained. "When we plant them, we're trusting our secrets to the earth, and the better the secret, the more beautiful the flower will grow." "Really?" Olivia asked, looking at the seeds with renewed interest. "Of course," Anna confirmed. "Let's test it out. Choose a seed and think of a special secret to tell it, but don't say it out loud. Whisper it very quietly as you plant it." Olivia's eyes sparkled at the idea. She carefully chose one of the seeds and held it between her fingers, as if it were a precious treasure. Anna pushed her chair to a newly prepared flower bed. "Now dig a little hole, not too deep," she instructed, handing the girl a small gardening trowel she had adapted especially for her small hands. With her tongue between her teeth in concentration, Olivia dug a small hole. Then, holding the seed close to her lips, she whispered something so low that not even Anna could hear. Reverently, she placed the seed in the hole and gently covered it with soil. "Now we need to give it water so the secret can start to grow," Anna said, holding a small watering can. But instead of just handing it to her, she held it above Olivia's head. "Do you know what this is? It's the magic cloud. When I swing it like this," she moved the watering can gently, "it starts to rain on the plants." Small drops of water began to fall on the flower bed, and Olivia let out a crystal-clear laugh when some splashed on her arm. "Can I make the magic rain too?" she asked, holding out her hands. "Of course," Anna agreed, handing her the small watering can. But remember, the magic rain needs to be gentle, like a soft song." Olivia held the watering can with both hands and carefully began to swing it over the flower bed where her secret seed was planted. "Magic rain, magic rain," she hummed quietly, laughing as the water formed tiny rainbows reflecting the sunlight. The minutes turned into hours as Anna transformed every garden task into a new adventure. The pots became houses for flower families, the stones on the path became a giant's footsteps, and the process of fertilizing the plants became a feeding the garden fairies. "The garden fairies love it when we keep everything clean and organized," Anna explained as she taught Olivia how to sort the fallen leaves. "So when we gather the leaves, we're tidying up their home." "And are they invisible?" Olivia asked, her eyes scanning the bushes as if expecting to see tiny winged creatures hopping between the leaves. "They only appear when no one is looking," Anna replied with a conspiratorial smile. "But we know they've been here because the plants look more beautiful afterward." Olivia nodded, completely accepting this logic. "I'm going to make a special place for them," she decided, pointing to a small space between two large rocks. "That can be the Fairy Queen's house." "Excellent idea," Anna agreed. Together, they created a small miniature garden with soft moss, colorful pebbles, and tiny white flowers that Anna had picked. Later, when the sun was high, Olivia asked to make a flower crown. Anna gathered daisies, dandelions, and small wildflowers that grew at the edge of the garden. "So these are perfect for crowns," she explained, showing Olivia how to weave the stems together. "It's like braiding hair, but with flowers." Olivia watched intently, then tried it herself. Her small fingers worked with determination, even when the stems slipped or broke. "Oh, it doesn't have to be perfect," Anna assured her upon seeing frustration start to appear on the girl's face. "You know what my mom used to say, that the best flower crowns are the ones with a few flaws because it shows they were made with love." That seemed to reassure Olivia, who continued working until she had completed a small, uneven but charming crown. "I'm done," she announced proudly. "It's beautiful," Anna exclaimed. "A crown fit for a princess." "It's for you," Olivia said shyly, holding out her creation. Anna felt a lump in her throat. "For me?" "Yes, because you teach me cool things and play with me." "And because," Olivia hesitated, her cheeks flushing slightly, "because you're my friend." Carefully, Anna knelt to be at the girl's eye level. "It's the most beautiful crown I've ever received," she said sincerely, bowing her head so Olivia could place it on. "And I'm very, very happy to be your friend, Olivia." The girl smiled, a smile that lit up her entire face and reached her eyes. In that moment, there was no wheelchair, no tragedy, just two friends in a sunny garden, sharing the simple joy of being together. Later, during dinner, David noticed how animated his daughter seemed, recounting her day with an enthusiasm rarely seen in recent years. "And then, we made magic rain. And Anna taught me about the garden fairies, and I made a flower crown for her." Olivia talked non-stop, gesturing with her hands as she described each adventure. "Sounds like you had a busy day," David commented, surprised by the change in his daughter. Olivia nodded vigorously. "It was the best day. Anna turns everything into a game. Even cleaning up leaves is fun with her." She paused, playing with her food for a moment before adding, "I like her, Daddy." "Anna is my friend." David felt something stir inside him upon hearing those words. My friend, spoken so naturally. It had been so long since Olivia had referred to anyone that way. "I'm glad you found a friend, Princess," he replied softly. "She knows how to do magic with the garden," Olivia continued, her eyes shining. "I think Mommy would have liked her too." David swallowed hard, touched by the spontaneous mention of his late wife, something that rarely happened. "I'm sure she would have, sweetie. I'm sure she would have." That night, when he went to put Olivia to bed, David noticed something different. Instead of the tense expression that usually accompanied bedtime, his daughter seemed relaxed, almost dreamy. "What are you thinking about?" he asked, tucking the covers around her. Olivia smiled, hugging her teddy bear. "I'm thinking about the secrets I told the seeds today. Anna said the better the secret, the more beautiful the flower grows." "And what secret did you tell?" Olivia shook her head, laughing. "I can't tell, Daddy, or else the magic won't work." David smiled, leaning in to kiss her forehead. "Of course, forgive me. Some secrets need to stay between you and the garden." "And Anna," Olivia added, already closing her eyes. She understands about garden magic. Autumn was advancing, and the leaves were beginning to change color. On that Saturday afternoon, the sky was painted with shades of soft gray, as if the whole world had gone quiet. Anna and Olivia were in the garden, enjoying a rare moment of calm. The girl had asked to stay near the stone fountain that Anna had finally managed to get working again. The sound of the falling water created a tranquil melody that seemed to cradle the garden. Anna was pruning some rose bushes, while Olivia leafed through a book about flowers that David had bought for her. Every now and then, the girl would look up to watch the clouds drift by slowly, her face in a contemplative expression, unusual for someone so young. "Anna," she called finally, closing the book in her lap. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course," Anna replied, setting her pruning shears aside and sitting on the stone bench next to Olivia's chair. "Anything." Olivia was silent for a moment, her fingers playing with the edge of the book. Have you ever felt like you were stuck somewhere? Like you wanted to go but you couldn't? Anna looked at the girl, realizing this wasn't a casual question. Yes, she answered honestly. Many times. Olivia nodded, as if confirming something to herself. I feel that way all the time. Her light eyes looked down at her still legs. Before the accident, I could run all over the garden. Mommy said I was as fast as a little rabbit. Anna felt a tightness in her chest. It was the first time Olivia had directly mentioned the accident. That must be hard, she said softly, resisting the urge to offer easy comfort or empty words. It was 2 years ago, Olivia continued, her voice small but firm. We were coming back from a party. I had fallen asleep in the car. Mommy was singing softly. She paused, her eyes lost in a distant memory. Then all I remember are loud noises and lights. When I woke up in the hospital, my legs wouldn't move anymore and they said Mommy had gone to heaven. A single tear rolled down Olivia's face, but she wiped it away quickly, as if she were used to not showing sadness. Daddy changed after that. He smiled less, started working more. I think looking at me makes him sad sometimes, because I remind him of Mommy. Anna took a deep breath, feeling the weight of that confession. Carefully, she moved closer to Olivia's chair, but without touching the girl, giving her space. Sometimes I feel like the plants that can't grow, Olivia continued, looking at the garden around them. Stuck in the same place, while everyone else can go wherever they want. You know, Anna said after a moment, some of the most beautiful plants in this garden are the ones that can't move. The rose bushes stay in the same spot for years, but they still manage to create the most incredible flowers. Olivia considered this but didn't seem fully convinced. Taya, but it's different for people, isn't it? Anna nodded. Yes, it's different. She hesitated for a moment, then decided Olivia deserved more than empty words of comfort. Can I tell you a secret? One I've never told anyone here. Olivia's eyes lit up with curiosity. A real secret. A real one. Anna shifted on the bench, looking at the cloudy sky before turning her eyes back to the girl. I also know what it's like to lose someone you love. My mother died when I was just a little older than you. What happened to her? Olivia asked, her own sadness momentarily forgotten. She got sick. Very sick. We didn't have money for good doctors. Anna ran her fingers through the loose soil next to the bench. And I never knew my father. He left before I was even born. Who took care of you after that? Anna smiled sadly. No one, really. I was in some foster homes for a while, but never for long. When I turned 15, I ended up on the streets. On the streets? Olivia's eyes widened. You lived on the street? Yes. I slept in shelters when I could get a spot, or on park benches when I couldn't. Anna looked at her calloused hands. I learned to fend for myself. I did odd jobs, cleaning houses, delivering packages, anything to get food. Wasn't there anyone to help? Anna shook her head. Most people didn't even see me. It's strange how that happens. When you don't have a place to call your own, people start to look right through you, like you're invisible. Olivia reached out and touched Anna's arm, a surprisingly mature gesture of comfort. You're not invisible to me. Anna felt her eyes well up. Thank you, Olivia. That means a lot. And how did you get here? To our house. I'd been looking for work for weeks. No one wanted to hire someone with no fixed address, no references. Anna smiled faintly. Then I saw this mansion and thought a place so big must need help. It was a long shot, but something told me to try. I'm glad you tried, Olivia said sincerely. Me too. Anna looked around at the garden now flourishing under her care. This is the first place in a long time where I feel like I might belong, where I'm not invisible. They sat in silence for a moment, the sound of the fountain's water filling the space between them. There was a new intimacy in the air, the kind that only emerges when two people share their deepest pains. You know, Anna said finally, maybe we're stuck in different ways, you in this chair, me in my circumstances. But I think what's important isn't how much we can move, but how much we can feel. Olivia reflected on that, her expression serious, like the flowers. They don't go anywhere, but they feel the sun and the rain. Exactly. Anna smiled, impressed by the girl's wisdom. And they turn what they feel into something beautiful. Olivia looked at her own hands, small but strong. I wish I could walk again, but if I can't, she paused, I think I can try to be like the flowers. Anna felt a lump in her throat. You are already more beautiful than any flower in this garden, Olivia, not because of your face or your hair, but because of your heart. The girl smiled, a smile that mixed sadness and hope. You too, Anna. At that moment, as if the sky were responding to their conversation, a ray of sunlight broke through the clouds, illuminating the garden in a golden glow. The light reflected on the fountain's water, creating small rainbows that danced around them. Look, Olivia exclaimed, pointing to the phenomenon. It's like magic. Anna nodded, watching the patterns of light that formed. Sometimes, beauty appears in the most unexpected places. We just need to be open to seeing it. Olivia reached out, trying to catch one of the colored rays. I think Mommy sent this to say that everything is okay. Anna didn't reply, but her heart filled with an emotion she couldn't name, something between gratitude and a strange sense of purpose. For the first time in years, she felt that maybe her difficult story had a greater meaning, to help this little girl find hope on her own journey. Thank you for telling me your secret, Olivia said softly. I promise I won't tell anyone. And thank you for trusting me with yours, Anna replied. Together, they sat in comfortable silence, watching the patterns of light that danced around them, two souls connected by their shared wounds and the silent hope for healing. The winter had passed, giving way to a vibrant spring. The garden of the Blackwood mansion bloomed in explosions of color. The seeds planted by Anna and Olivia months before now displayed their flowers in all their splendor. It was as if nature was celebrating the friendship that had grown as strong as the plants around them. On a particularly sunny April morning, Anna arrived at the garden earlier than usual. She had a plan in mind, something she had been considering for weeks. Ever since a conversation with Dr. Richards, Olivia's doctor, she had run into him at the mansion's entrance after one of the girl's regular appointments. You know, the doctor had commented while packing away his equipment, there's no physiological reason for Olivia to never walk again. The spinal injuries were serious but not irreversible. I believe it's more of a psychological issue, the trauma of the accident, the loss of her mother. Sometimes the body holds wounds that the eyes can't see. Those words never left Anna's mind. Watching Olivia over the past few weeks, she had noticed how her arms had grown stronger from the garden work, how her posture had improved, how she would sometimes lean to reach for something without realizing how much her body was stretching. Today would be the day. Anna had prepared a special spot, a small space between two flowering trees, with the soft ground covered in fresh grass. She had placed two thin wooden posts, forming a sort of low, sturdy handrail. When Martha brought Olivia to the garden, the girl immediately noticed the change. What's that? She asked, pointing to the structure as Anna approached to greet her. Good morning, little flower, Anna greeted with a smile. It's a surprise. But first, let's see how our daisies are doing, shall we? Martha left the two of them, casting a curious glance at the structure before heading back to the house. For the next hour, Anna and Olivia followed their normal routine, checking on the plants, watering those that needed it, removing dead leaves. Anna, Olivia said, as they admired a particularly beautiful bed of tulips. Do you think one day I'll be able to walk through the garden like you, without the chair? Anna's heart sped up. It was as if the universe was confirming her plan. Actually, she replied carefully, I was thinking about that, and I think we can try something today. Olivia's eyes widened. What do you mean? Anna knelt beside the wheelchair, looking directly into the girl's light eyes. I spoke with Dr. Richards the other day. He mentioned that there's no physical reason for you not to try standing, maybe even taking a few steps eventually. But I can't, Olivia protested, a tremor of fear in her voice. I've tried by myself lots of times and my legs don't listen. Maybe you just need a little help, Anna suggested gently. Like the plants, some need support to grow in the right direction. Olivia bit her lip, looking at the structure Anna had set up. Is that what that's for? Yes. I thought we could try together. Just try to stand up first. Nothing more than that. What do you think? Olivia hesitated, her fingers nervously gripping the arms of her chair. Dice, what if I fall? Anna smiled, reaching out to gently touch the girl's face. I'm right here. I won't let you fall, I promise. Those simple words seemed to calm Olivia. She took a deep breath and nodded. Let's try then. Carefully, Anna pushed the chair to the structure she had prepared. She positioned it so the handrails were within Olivia's reach. First, I want you to hold on here, she instructed, guiding the girl's hands to the wooden supports. Feel how sturdy they are. They won't break or give way. Olivia tested the handrails, gripping them tightly. Now, let's do this. I'll stand in front of you and hold your hands. When you're ready, try to push yourself up using your arms. Don't worry if your legs don't help much at first. Anna positioned herself, holding Olivia's small hands firmly. She could feel them trembling slightly. I'm scared, Olivia admitted, her voice almost a whisper. Fear is normal, Anna replied. It means we're doing something important. But remember what we learned from the garden. Even when it seems impossible, life finds a way. Olivia took another deep breath, her eyes fixed on Anna's. I'm ready. Great. Let's count to 3, and then you'll try to stand up. 1, 2, 3. Olivia pressed her hands against the handrails and, with visible effort, began to lift her body from the chair. Her arms, strengthened by months of work in the garden, managed to raise her a few inches. Anna held her hands, offering support without doing all the work. That's it, she encouraged. You're doing it. With her face red from the effort, Olivia continued to push herself up until, to the surprise of both, her legs trembled and seemed to support part of her weight. She wasn't fully standing, but she was higher than she had been in years. Anna, she exclaimed, a mix of fear and excitement in her voice. My legs they're holding me. I knew it, Anna replied, tears forming in her eyes. You're stronger than you think, Olivia. For a few precious seconds, Olivia remained partially upright, her legs shaking with the unaccustomed effort. Then, gently, Anna helped her sit back down in the chair. I did it! Olivia was beaming, despite the evident fatigue. I stood up. Yes, you did, Anna confirmed, wiping away a tear. And this is just the beginning. In the days that followed, they repeated the exercise, each time for a little longer. Anna was patient, never pushing Olivia beyond what she could handle, celebrating every small progress as a major victory. A week later, Olivia managed to stand completely upright, supported by the handrails, for almost half a minute. Her legs still shook, but they were noticeably steadier. I think I'm getting stronger, she commented proudly during one of these sessions. You definitely are, Anna agreed. It's like the seeds we planted. Growth happens little by little, but when we look back, we see how far we've come. It was in the 3rd week of trying that it happened. The day was particularly beautiful, with the morning sun filtering through the tree leaves, creating dancing patterns on the garden floor. Olivia had managed to stand on her own, holding only the handrails. Anna, she said, determination in her voice, I want to try taking a step today. Anna looked at her, assessing her condition. Olivia seemed stronger, more confident. Are you sure? I am. I dreamed about it last night, that I was walking through the garden again. It felt so real. Then let's try, Anna agreed. But I'll be right in front of you, and we'll go slowly. Olivia nodded, absolute concentration on her face as she pushed herself up on the handrails. When she was steady, she looked at Anna, who had positioned herself a step away. I'm ready, she declared. Remember, Anna said, holding out her hands, no matter what happens, I'm here. I won't let you fall. Olivia fixed her eyes on Anna, as if she were an anchor in a stormy sea. Then, with a shaky movement, she lifted her right foot off the ground and moved it a few inches forward. Time seemed to freeze in that instant. A 7-year-old girl who hadn't walked in over 2 years, defying all prognoses, all the pain, all the fear. Her foot touched the ground again, and she transferred a little weight onto it. I'm doing it. I'm taking a step. Olivia's voice was pure joy. You're doing it, Anna encouraged, tears now streaming freely down her face. Keep going. With tremendous effort, Olivia brought her other foot forward. 2 steps, small, unsteady, but real steps. At that moment, there was a sound of something falling. Anna and Olivia looked towards the source of the noise and saw David Blackwood standing a few feet away, a folder of documents scattered at his feet, his face a mask of complete shock. Olivia? His voice was barely a whisper. Are you walking? Daddy! Olivia exclaimed, the excitement in her voice mixed with effort. Look what I can do. Carefully, she took another shaky step towards her father. Her legs were trembling violently now, but the determination on her face was unshakable. David moved as if in a trance, quickly approaching to support his daughter before she could fall. He knelt and hugged her, tears now running freely down his own face. How? He stammered, looking from Olivia to Anna. How is this possible? The doctors said... They said there was no physical reason for her not to walk again, Anna completed softly. Dr. Richards told me the problem was never physical, it was emotional. She just needed someone who believed in her, who gave her support and attention. Olivia, still in her father's arms, began to cry, not tears of pain, but of joy and relief. I thought I'd never get out of this chair, she sobbed. I thought I was stuck forever. David hugged her tighter, kissing the top of her head repeatedly. "Ah, my brave princess," he murmured, his voice choked with emotion. "You never cease to amaze me." He looked at Anna, who was watching the scene with teary eyes. "You did this," he said, infinite gratitude in his words. "You gave my daughter her legs back." Anna shook her head. "No, Mr. Blackwood. Olivia did this. She always had the strength inside her. I just helped her find it." Olivia reached out a hand, calling for Anna to join the hug. "We did it together," she declared, with the simple wisdom of a child, like everything in the garden. Anna knelt beside them, and Olivia pulled her into the hug. For a moment, the three of them remained like that, united by the emotion of the moment, by the miracle they had witnessed. "And this is just the beginning," Anna said softly. "We still have a lot of work ahead, physical therapy, exercises." "We'll do whatever it takes," David affirmed with determination. "Everything." Olivia looked around at the garden that was now bursting with spring colors, the same flowers she had helped plant, that she had watered and cared for day after day. "I knew the garden was magic," she whispered, a brilliant smile lighting up her tear-streaked face. "Mommy always said so." David kissed his daughter's forehead again, unable to contain his emotion. Then, carefully, he lifted her into his arms. "I think we need to celebrate," he said, his voice lighter than Anna had ever heard. "And then make some phone calls to doctors, physical therapists." "Can I keep practicing in the garden with Anna?" Olivia asked eagerly. "Of course you can, princess," David assured her. He looked at Anna, a silent question in his eyes. "It would be an honor to keep helping," she replied to the unspoken request. "In fact, I already have some ideas for adapting other parts of the garden for the exercises." As David carried Olivia back to the house, the girl looked over her father's shoulder and smiled at Anna, a smile that held promises of better days, of more steps, of more achievements. Anna stood in the garden for a moment, feeling the sun on her face, listening to the birds singing in the flowering trees. She looked at the small space between the handrails where a miracle had happened, not a fairy tale miracle, but a miracle of human determination, of connection, of hope. "You were right, Olivia," she murmured to herself. "The garden really is magic." And then, with her heart overflowing with emotion, she returned to her work, knowing there was much more to do, much more growth ahead, for both the plants and the people she now called family. David Blackwood's office, on the 3rd floor of the Mansion Moir, had always been his sanctuary. A place of dark wood, leather-bound books, and the faint scent of old paper. He used to spend hours there, immersed in documents and spreadsheets, letting the numbers and contracts fill the void that the loss of his wife had created. But that night, after putting Olivia to bed, the office felt different. The walls seemed closer, the silence heavier. David sat in his leather armchair, an untouched glass of whiskey in front of him. His eyes scanned the framed photographs on the bookshelf, frozen moments of a life that seemed to have happened to someone else. One photo in particular caught his eye. Olivia at 3 years old, sitting on the shoulders of Catherine, his late wife. Both of them smiling, with the blooming garden in the background. The exact same garden where, hours before, his daughter had taken her first steps since the accident. How could I have become so distant? He murmured to himself, the question hanging in the silent air. The sound of light footsteps in the hallway interrupted his thoughts. The door opened softly, and there was Olivia in her wheelchair, wearing her unicorn pajamas and her blonde hair disheveled. "Daddy," she called hesitantly, "can I come in?" David stood up immediately. "Princess, you should be asleep. Is everything all right?" Olivia maneuvered the chair into the office with the skill of someone who had been doing it for years. "I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about today in the garden." David knelt beside the chair, leveling his gaze with his daughter's. "I can't stop thinking about it either. It was incredible. Anna said we're going to practice more tomorrow." Olivia's face lit up. "She thinks I'll be able to take several steps in a row soon." "I'm sure you will," David agreed, noticing how his daughter's eyes shone when she spoke of Anna, a sparkle that had been long absent. Olivia fiddled with the hem of her pajamas, looking suddenly nervous. "Daddy, can I ask you something?" "Of course, anything." "Why were you so sad with me after the accident?" The question hit David like a physical blow. "Sad with you? Olivia, I never—" "You stopped playing with me," she continued, her voice small but firm. "You stopped telling stories before bed. You were always in this room, even on weekends." David felt a lump in his throat, the truth in his daughter's words piercing the armor he had built around his heart. "I didn't think you noticed," he said finally, his voice choked. "I noticed," Olivia replied simply. "I thought it was because I reminded you of Mommy, or because you were disappointed that I couldn't run and jump anymore." "No, no, no." David took his daughter's small hands in his. "Olivia, listen, never, not for 1 second, was I disappointed in you. You are the most precious thing in my life. Then why did you stay away?" David closed his eyes for a moment, searching for words to explain something he didn't fully understand himself. "I think I was scared." "Scared of what?" "Of not being enough, of not knowing how to take care of you without your mother, of doing everything wrong." David took a deep breath. "And so, instead of facing that fear, I hid in my work. I thought if I made sure you had the best doctors, the best care, I was doing my part, but I forgot the most important thing." "What?" "That you didn't just need doctors and nurses, you needed your father." A tear ran down David's face. "I failed you, Princess. And I want to ask for your forgiveness for that." Olivia looked at him in silence for a long moment, her light eyes, so much like Catherine's, studying her father's face. "I was scared too," she admitted finally. "Scared that you didn't love me anymore because I couldn't walk." "Oh, Olivia." David hugged her, feeling how much she had grown, and yet how small she still seemed in his arms. "I love you more than anything in this world. Nothing will ever change that." "Promise you won't hide in this room anymore?" she asked against his shoulder. "Yes, I promise." David pulled back just enough to look into his daughter's eyes. "In fact, I was thinking of making some changes, cutting back on my work hours, maybe hiring someone to help with some projects." Olivia's face lit up. "Really? Really? I want to be there for you, for every new step you take." David smiled, wiping a tear from his daughter's face. "And I also want to get to know this magical garden you and Anna have created." "I can show you tomorrow," Olivia exclaimed, excited. "We have new tulips, and the sunflowers are almost as tall as me." "I can't wait." David kissed his daughter's forehead. "Hanakim, what do you say we do something we haven't done in a long time?" "What? A bedtime story?" Olivia's smile was answer enough. David pushed her chair back down the hall to her room, helped her get settled in bed, and for the first time in over 2 years, sat beside her and opened a storybook. When he finished the story, Olivia was already nearly asleep. "Daddy," she murmured sleepily, "I'm glad you're back." David felt his heart ache. "Me too, Princess, me too." The next morning dawned clear and promising. David, who would normally be in his office by 7, surprised Martha by appearing in the kitchen for breakfast. "Mr. Blackwood." The housekeeper nearly dropped the tray she was carrying. "Is everything all right, sir?" "Everything's great, Martha," he replied, pouring himself some coffee. "I just thought I'd have breakfast with my daughter today. Is that a problem?" "No, sir. It's just unusual." Martha seemed to recover from her surprise. "Miss Olivia usually has breakfast at 8. "Perfect. Enough time for me to make something special." Martha watched, unstunned, as David opened cupboards and the refrigerator. "Sir, are you going to cook?" "Pancakes," he confirmed, grabbing flour and eggs. "Catherine always said I made the best pancakes." A hesitant smile appeared on Martha's stern face. "Yes, she did say that, sir." "Do you need any help?" "Actually, yes. Could you show me where we keep the strawberries? Olivia always loved them." As the kitchen filled with the aroma of melted butter and pancake batter, Anna arrived for work, as she did every morning at 7 sharp. As she passed the kitchen window, she stopped in surprise to see David Blackwood, always so formal and distant, wearing an apron and flipping pancakes in a skillet. When Olivia arrived in the kitchen, pushed by her nurse, she gasped at the sight of the table set with pancakes, fresh strawberries, and maple syrup. "Daddy, you did this?" David turned, a genuine smile lighting up his face. "Good morning, Princess. I thought we could bring back a Sunday tradition, but it's Thursday," Olivia observed, confused. "Well, then we'll create a new Thursday tradition." David approached, kissing the top of her head. "And what do you think?" Breakfast was filled with laughter and conversation, something that hadn't happened in that house for a long time. David listened intently as Olivia talked about the plants in the garden, the stories Anna told her, and her plans to make a flower crown for every season. After breakfast, David surprised Olivia again. "I've cancelled my morning meetings," he announced. "I thought I'd join you and Anna in the garden today, if you don't mind." Olivia's eyes widened. "Really? You're going to watch me practice walking?" "Wouldn't miss it for the world," he assured her. In the garden, they found Anna already at work, her sleeves rolled up as she planted new lavender seedlings. "Good morning," she greeted, standing up as she saw the father and daughter approaching. "Do we have extra company today?" "Daddy wants to watch our exercises," Olivia explained excitedly. "And then we're going to show him the whole garden." Anna looked at David, a silent question in her eyes. He nodded, an embarrassed smile on his face. "If it's no bother, not at all," Anna replied. "Actually, an extra pair of hands will be useful." For the next hour, David watched, amazed, as Anna guided Olivia through exercises that strengthened her legs. The gardener's patience, the way she encouraged every small progress, the trust Olivia placed in her, all of it touched him deeply. "Your turn, Mr. Blackwood," Anna said suddenly, holding out her hands. "Olivia is going to try walking to you now." David positioned himself a few steps away, kneeling to be at his daughter's eye level. "I'm waiting, Princess." With determination in her eyes, Olivia stood up, supported by the rails Anna had built. Then, step by step, she walked shakily towards her father. "I'm doing it, Daddy," she exclaimed, her face beaming with pride. When she reached him, David wrapped her in a tight hug. "You're incredible, you know that." Over Olivia's shoulder, his eyes met Anna's. "Thank you," he mouthed silently. She just smiled in response, discreetly stepping away to give the father and daughter a private moment. The following weeks brought profound changes to the Blackwood mansion. David, true to his promise, completely rearranged his schedule. He now actively participated in Olivia's physical therapy, personally taking her to appointments with Dr. Richards 3 times a week. "It's remarkable," the doctor commented after examining Olivia a month after her first steps. "Honestly, Mr. Blackwood, I've never seen a recovery like this. Her leg muscles are regaining tone, reflexes are improving. It's almost as if her body is finally allowing itself to heal." "And how long until she can walk normally?" David asked. It's hard to say for sure. But with the dedication I'm seeing, I wouldn't be surprised if she's using only canes for support in 6 months. Olivia, sitting on the examination table, squeezed Anna's hand, who accompanied her to every appointment. Anna says I'm strong like the trees in the garden, and she's absolutely right, the doctor agreed, smiling at the gardener. Whatever you two are doing in that garden, keep it up. As spring moved into summer, the routine at the mansion settled into a new rhythm. Anna continued to arrive early every morning, faithful to her work in the garden, but now she often found David already awake, sharing coffee on the veranda while watching the sunrise. "I never realized how beautiful this place is at dawn," he commented one morning. "It's my favorite time of day," Anna replied. "Everything seems possible when the sun is rising." Olivia continued to progress with her exercises. The wheelchair was still necessary for longer distances, but within the garden, she increasingly ventured out with a walker, or supported by her father's or Anna's arm. "Daddy and I are going to the movies on Saturday," she announced one afternoon while helping Anna water the plants. "Do you want to come with us?" Anna hesitated. Despite all the closeness she had developed with the Blackwoods, she still maintained a certain sense of distance. After all, she was an employee. "I don't know if that would be appropriate." "Please," Olivia insisted. "It'll be more fun if you come." "Your presence would be very welcome," David added, approaching with a tray of lemonade. "In fact, Martha is already complaining that you're the only one who doesn't show up for Sunday dinners." Anna felt her face grow warm. "I didn't want to intrude." "Intrude?" David laughed softly. "Anna, you brought life back to this house, to the garden, to my daughter, to me." His voice grew more serious. "You're part of this family now, if you want to be." Anna's eyes filled with unexpected tears. Family, a word that hadn't had real meaning for her in so long. "So, are you coming?" Olivia asked, oblivious to the emotional moment between the adults. Anna smiled, discreetly wiping away a tear. "Yes, I'll come." Later that day, while Olivia was resting after her exercises, David found Anna working on a new flower bed. "You know," he said, watching her transplant small seedlings, "I've been thinking about expanding the garden to the west side of the property. There's a space that would be perfect for a small pond. Maybe some fruit trees." "That sounds like an ambitious project," Anna commented. "Yes, it would take time." David paused. "Maybe years." Their eyes met, and Anna understood the unasked question. "Well," she replied calmly, "it's a good thing I don't have any plans to go anywhere else." "I'm glad to hear that," David said. "Olivia would be devastated if you left, and so would I." Before Anna could respond, Olivia appeared on the veranda, leaning on her walker. "Can I try walking to the new flower bed today?" she called out, her face radiant with determination. "Of course you can, little flower," Anna answered, smiling. As David helped his daughter down the veranda steps, Anna watched the two of them, the man who had found his humanity again, and the girl who, like the hardiest plants in the garden, was thriving against all odds. "Are you ready?" David asked, positioning himself beside his daughter to support her. I am," Olivia replied firmly. Then, looking at Anna, she added, "We're just getting started, aren't we?" Anna nodded, her heart overflowing. "Yes, little flower, we're just getting started." Summer gave way to autumn, and the garden of the Blackwood mansion transformed into a tapestry of golds, reds and ambers. The leaves fell gently, dancing in the air before landing on the ground in a natural mosaic. The work in the garden had changed. Now it was time to prepare the plants for the coming cold, protect delicate bulbs, and plan for the next spring. But it wasn't just the garden that had transformed. 6 months after her first steps, Olivia now walked with the help of just a light cane, decorated with small hand-painted flowers, a project she and Anna had done together on a rainy afternoon. Her physical therapy continued, but Dr. Richards didn't hide his amazement at her progress. "It's almost a medical miracle," he had commented at her last appointment. "We rarely see such significant recoveries after so much time of immobility." On one particularly beautiful afternoon, David invited Anna for tea in the gazebo they had built in the center of the garden. Olivia was at her physical therapy session, and it was rare for the two adults to have time alone. "The roses are beautiful this year," David commented, observing the bushes laden with flowers that Anna had carefully cultivated. Catherine would have loved to see them like this. The mention of his late wife was something new. David rarely spoke of her, as if the name were too painful to pronounce. "They're strong," Anna replied. "Oh, they just needed attention and care." David smiled, knowing she wasn't just talking about the flowers. He took a sip of tea, gathering the courage for what he wanted to say. "Anna, I've been thinking a lot about how to properly express my gratitude. What you've done for Olivia, for this family, it's invaluable." Anna felt her face grow warm. "I was just doing my job." "No," David shook his head firmly. "What you did goes far beyond any job description. You brought hope when there was none. You gave my daughter her life back when all the experts had given up." He paused, looking at the garden that had once been as neglected as his own ability to feel joy. "And it wasn't just Olivia," he continued, his voice softer. "You reminded me what it is to truly live, not just exist." Silence fell between them, filled only by the distant sound of birds singing in the trees and the whisper of leaves in the wind. "Can I ask you something personal?" David inquired finally. Anna nodded hesitantly, placing her cup on the small table between them. "You never talk about your life before you came to work here. Do you have family somewhere, a place to go back to?" The question caught Anna by surprise. In all these months, she had carefully avoided the subject, sharing only fragments of her story with Olivia. But now, sitting in this garden she considered almost her own, she felt that maybe it was time for the truth. "No," she replied simply. "I don't have a family, or a place to go back to." David waited, giving her space to continue if she wished. It was a quality Anna had learned to appreciate in him, the patience to listen, to truly hear. Anna took a deep breath, looking at her calloused hands. "I lived on the streets for almost 6 years, she confessed finally. "Ever since I left the last foster home at 17, I slept in shelters when I was lucky, on park benches when I wasn't. Anna, I had no idea. It's strange," she continued, the words now flowing like a dammed river. "When you live like that for so long, you start to believe you'll never have a place to call your own. People look right through you, as if you're invisible. Eventually, you start to feel that way too, like a ghost, just passing through the world without really being a part of it." She looked up and saw David's expression, not pity as she had feared, but genuine understanding. "Was that why you insisted so much that day, for a job here?" Anna nodded, a small, sad smile on her lips. "When I knocked on your door, I hadn't eaten properly in 3 days. The gardener who let me in, he'd seen me sleeping in the city park days before and felt sorry for me." David shook his head, clearly impacted by the revelation. "But why didn't you say anything?" "I wanted to be hired for my worth, not out of pity," Anna replied. "I wanted to prove I could do something well, that I could be useful." She looked at the garden she had transformed. "Do you know what the best part of working here was, besides meeting Olivia? Having a room, a place to call my own, even if it was temporary. A place where I could close the door and feel safe." A tear escaped, sliding down Anna's cheek. "But then something happened that I didn't expect. I started to feel like I belonged here, in the garden, with Olivia. It was the first time in many years that I didn't feel invisible." David reached out and hesitantly touched Anna's arm. "You will never be invisible again, not as long as we're around." "Thank you," she replied softly. "Working in this garden, helping Olivia, it was like getting a second chance at life." David was silent for a moment, as if making an important decision. "I have a proposal for you," he said finally. Anna looked at him, curious. "What this work you've been doing, not just with the garden but with Olivia, is something I intend for to continue for a long time, years in fact." David paused, choosing his words carefully. "Therefore, I would like to formalize your position here not just as a gardener, but as part of this family." "I don't understand. I'm offering you not just permanent employment, but also a permanent home," David explained. "The west wing of the mansion, That small cottage near the rose garden has been empty for years. It was originally the head gardener's house when the estate was built. I would like it to be yours." Anna was speechless, emotion closing her throat. "Olivia needs you," David continued, "and, to be honest, so do I. You brought life back to this house, Anna. Let us repay you by offering you a place where you can finally belong." I don't know what to say," she finally managed to reply, her voice trembling. "Say yes," David suggested with a gentle smile, "and then we can tell Olivia at dinner. She'll be ecstatic." Anna looked at the garden around them, at the mansion that had become more than a workplace, at the man who was offering not just a job, but a future, a home. "Yes," she said finally. "Yes, I accept, thank you." The next morning, Anna woke before dawn, as she always did. But today, her steps were lighter as she headed to the garden. The stars were still shining in the sky as she began her tasks, preparing the soil for planting bulbs that would bloom next spring. The previous evening's conversation with David still echoed in her mind. After he had made the announcement at dinner, Olivia had been so excited she almost spilled her drink. "Does this mean you're going to stay forever?" she had asked, her light eyes shining with hope. "It means this is my home now," Anna had replied, feeling the word home and strange and yet comforting on her tongue. She was so lost in her thoughts and her work that she didn't notice the small figure approaching along the path, walking carefully with a cane. "Anna!" Olivia's voice broke the morning silence. Anna turned, surprised to see the girl awake so early. "Little flower, what are you doing up at this hour?" "I couldn't sleep," Olivia replied, getting closer. "I was too excited thinking about you living in the garden cottage forever," Anna smiled, feeling a wave of affection for the girl. "Your father was very generous." "It's not generosity when it's family," Olivia declared with the simple wisdom of children, "and you're our family now. I made something for you." She held out a folded piece of paper she was holding in her free hand. "It's a welcome gift." Anna carefully unfolded the paper. It was a colorful drawing, made with wax crayons. It showed 3 people holding hands in a garden full of flowers, a tall one with dark hair, a small one with blonde hair, and a figure with longer blonde hair surrounded by flowers. At the top of the page, in large, uneven letters, was written, "My friend." "This is Daddy," Olivia explained, pointing to the figures. "This is me, and this is you." "In our garden?" Anna felt her eyes fill with tears. "It's the most beautiful gift I've ever received," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "Are you crying?" Olivia asked, concerned. "Sometimes people cry when they're very happy," Anna explained, wiping away the tears. "These are good tears," Olivia smiled, relieved. "Daddy said you didn't have a real family before, but now you have us." "Yes," Anna agreed, holding the drawing against her chest. "Now I have you." The sound of footsteps made them both turn. David was approaching along the path, carrying a tray with breakfast. "I thought I'd find you two here," he said, smiling. "Breakfast in the garden to celebrate?" Olivia clapped her hands in excitement. "Yes, can I show Anna the new flower bed we planned?" "After breakfast," David agreed, placing the tray on a nearby bench. While they ate, Anna carefully tucked the drawing into her apron pocket. It was a treasure she would keep forever, a symbol of the new beginning she had never imagined possible. "I have an idea," Olivia announced, biting into an apple. "We can plant a special tree near Anna's cottage, one that grows along with our family." David smiled at his daughter. "I think that's a wonderful idea." "What do you suggest, Anna?" "A cherry tree," she replied without hesitation. "They are beautiful in all seasons. They bloom in the spring, give fruit in the summer, have golden leaves in the fall, and even in winter, their branches have an elegance of their own. Like people," Olivia observed wisely. "Always beautiful, just in different ways." After breakfast, the 3 of them walked through the garden, discussing plans for the future. Olivia, who now walked with much more confidence, led the way, pointing out the places she wanted to show Anna. "And here," she said, stopping near a newly prepared bed, "we'll plant special flowers in the spring. Flowers that mean family and friendship." Anna knelt beside her, looking at the fertile soil. It's a perfect spot, and I know exactly which flowers to plant." David watched the two of them, his heart full of a gratitude that words could never adequately express. A year ago, his life had seemed to be over. A daughter who couldn't walk, a house empty of joy, a future without hope. And then Anna had knocked on his door, bringing with her the promise of a renewed garden and, without anyone knowing, the promise of a reborn family. "Come on," he called, holding out his hands to both of them. "Let's go see the cottage. We need to plan how to make it perfect for Anna." Olivia took one of his hands, while Anna, after a moment's hesitation, accepted the other. Together, they walked through the garden in its full autumnal glory. A man who had rediscovered joy, a girl who had overcome the impossible, and a woman who finally had a place to call home. The garden around them seemed to celebrate the moment. Golden leaves danced in the gentle wind. Birds sang in the trees, and the last flowers of the season displayed their vibrant colors, as if they knew they were witnessing something precious. A new beginning, as simple as a seed planted in fertile soil, as miraculous as a child taking her first steps, as beautiful as a garden in full bloom. If this story touched your heart, subscribe